verbal or life.
As a reporter, I have a confession to make. I should have pushed harder earlier for more information about Joe Biden's mental and physical well being and any signs of decline. So let me explain.
The man was declining, and all the media outlets were not saying anything. The White House was not saying anything. And look at them now, confessing that they should have said something. In any case, welcome to Verbal on Life. We got to be verbal about these things. My name is Noel. Let's take a look at this report.
Joe Biden was president from 2020 to 2024. I worked at CNN through 2022. During that time, the early part when I was at CNN, 2020 to 2022, people would Republicans would regularly ping me and say, why don't you ask more questions of Joe Biden and how he's doing? He's 76, 77, 78-year-old man. And I would sort of brush them off because what I would say is, well, there's no obvious evidence that he's declining. Yeah, he moves a little slower, he talks a little slower, but there's no evidence that he's declining. And the White House and the people around Joe Biden were absolutely adamant that
and nobody could say anything because if you start talking about Joe Biden and how he looks, then you will call it ageist. They were saying that you were just picking on him because the guy's an old man. So you will get canceled.
Suggesting anything, asking the question about whether he was in some physical, mental, or both decline was offensive. How could you? It's age shaming. And I think that impacted me at some level because while I did ask the question from time to time of, not directly the White House, but aides and people around in that orbit, I didn't really push on it, if I'm being honest.
But no one is saying they have to shut down the White House because he's not with it today. This man is awake 23 hours a day. He's clearly engaged. And the American people just elected him over somebody who was much younger. I will point out to you. My question is this. That we elect people for a reason. The elected leadership of the government is supposed to be making decisions. For 4 years, the unelected have been in charge of our country during critical moments. Mm-hmm. We don't live in a country where the unelected are supposed to rule us. We live where the elected are supposed to rule. My problem is for 4 years, we were lied to about who's actually running the country.
So like a small staff at the White House were the actual people running the White House. We don't know who they are, right? But these are the people on the background. That's crazy.
This is a problem.
I think we do have to leave it there.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about this bombshell report from the mainstream liberal media, the Wall Street Journal, admitting that the White House participated in a cover-up of Joe Biden's mental decline, right? Apparently, the White House aides knew very, very, very early on that Joe Biden was not mentally fit enough to be president of the United States. Now, again, this was deemed a right-wing conspiracy when conservatives, Republicans, people on the right came out and said Joe Biden is not mentally fit enough to be in office. Okay, he's declining before our eyes. But the mainstream liberal media, including outlets like CNN, told us, do not believe our eyes. Don't believe your eyes, okay? You're not seeing what you think you're saying. What you're actually saying are cheap fakes, okay? This is a right-wing conspiracy that Joe Biden is mentally declining.
And they use propaganda and the cancel culture to just put out what they want to put out, the media and the White House, and threaten people to get canceled if you don't go along with the propaganda.
Cheap fake clips went viral on social media and were picked up by some news outlets. Take a look at this clip, for example. It shows Biden and other world leaders watching a skydiving demonstration before the president is seen walking away and looking in another direction. Outlets claimed that he was sort of just aimlessly wandering away.
I remember those days. Those were the good old days.
The clip amassed millions of views within just a few hours, when actually if you widen out, you can see that he was talking to one of the members of the military that was participating in that demonstration.
There's a growing and insidious trend in right-wing media, broadcast, print, and social media. It is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos of President Biden directly from Republican National Committee social media accounts and then use those videos to spread messages virally to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness for office. Here is this headline from the New York Post, quote, Biden appears to freeze up, has to be led off stage by Obama at Megabucks LA fundraiser. The full video posted by Biden finance chair on Twitter shows something entirely.
Right there, the man froze. We could see with our own eyes. He doesn't know what to do. He can't move. He needs Barack Obama to push him. And how does the media recover from this? You know, the media lied to the audience. And now we're supposed to believe them?
really different. Biden reacting to applause and then walking off stage with former President Obama.
With these types of videos, saying that they are done in bad faith, and that is how the White House is responding to these types of videos this evening.
All right, Arlette, thank you very much. David Urban and Jamal Simmons are now out front. I mean, the one at the G7 very clearly shows when you extend it that he was interacting with a parachutist on the ground, extremely different than the way the clip had been cut before. But David Urban, the White House and President Obama are pushing back. Obama is saying no, that President Biden did not freeze, that they're friends, that this is not.
And the crazy part is that Obama knew. So this whole thing also makes Obama look bad. So the media looks bad. Everybody who lied looks bad. And Obama, who had a great reputation, man, I was Obama all the way. We all loved Obama. And for him to do this to us, to the viewers, I mean, he probably doesn't care because he's a billionaire now. But man, his reputation is shot.
Did not happen the way that it is being portrayed. So what do you think? Is it time for people to stop selectively clipping videos and putting them out?
Yeah, so I want you guys to understand. Not only did the mainstream liberal media deny the reality that Joe Biden was mentally declining, but they essentially smeared any other outlet, whether it be a mainstream liberal media outlet or some print publication that suggested that Joe Biden may have been mentally declining. Okay, that those videos that we saw of Joe Biden, which clearly showed evidence of his mental decline, no, those weren't real. They were selectively edited. They are cheap fakes. Okay, the media, the press, ran with the White House's narrative without questioning the White House at all in regards to whether or not they're telling the truth about Joe Biden's mental condition. And what you're seeing here, guys, is the decline in journalism. This is why nobody takes the mainstream media seriously anymore. This is why they're a complete and total joke, is because instead of doing actual journalism, no, that's not what they did for the last 4 years. What they did is that they ran propaganda on behalf of the White House. Anything the White House said, they took it as if it was fact. Okay?
And we're living in crazy times where it's like more obvious that it's all propaganda. Like they're making it so clear for people to see that it's propaganda, that it was all lies. And it's a little bit sad that there's some Democrats, no matter what, that refuse to let go of this propaganda. They refuse to believe the fact that somebody lied to them. But unfortunately, they got to wake up, pinch themselves or something. You probably know a family member. You probably know somebody who refused to let go of the media, of their idols or whoever they think is right. Even when the proof is in the pudding, the proof is in front of their eyes. It's crazy, man. People got to wake up.
Okay? Because they didn't.
Or at least we hope they wake up. And if they don't, we still move forward and do the best for everybody.
Want to help Trump, even though the reality was that, hey, Joe Biden is more than just losing a step. The guy should not be president of the United States right now. And it is a damn shame that this dude was sitting in office for 4 years straight, declining in front of our eyes. And then you had the media in the White House lie on his behalf simply because they did not want to help Trump. So without further ado, I want to react to this panel discussion from CNN in which they're going to talk about Biden quitting, right? Quiet quitting in his final days in office, and the fact that the White House covered it up along with outlets like CNN. So without further
shout out to this guy. I think his name is Scott Jennings, who is not scared to be canceled and just blows up at CNN in their face. It's crazy.
ado, let's get into it.
this piece does show Biden having all of these sort of walls up.
Yeah.
And the walls kept getting higher and higher as the years went on.
This is the biggest scandal in America. And the level and volume of people who dedicated themselves to lying to everyone at home about this man's condition for 4 straight years up through this summer is breathtaking. It's a scandal of epic proportions. And it's a fair question to ask, who is running the country? Who has been running the country? And as I said earlier, if you're worried about Donald Trump's advisors having influence for the last 4 years, apparently this president, duly elected, but this president was not capable of fulfilling the duties of the office. And his staff and the White House lied about it and kept it from the American people.
So there's like political bureaucrats. Those, I think it's 4 million jobs, or people who do the government job, like they cannot get fired. So they take advantage of everything just to keep their job going, to keep that money coming in, and just lie to the people because they don't care. They're getting paid. Let's go. They don't care about no deficiencies, that there's no government money. No, they keep it going.
Absolute scandal.
Yeah, and CNN too, right? This network lied about it as well too. Okay, but Scott Jennings here, he brings up a great point about how all these people are boohoo whining and crying about Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Trump is being controlled by Elon and Vivek Ramaswamy. Trump is not actually president, blah, 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 right? These are the things that they're saying, okay? However, none of these individuals for the past 4 years straight had any questions about who's actually running the White House, because clearly Biden was not running anything, okay? Everything that Biden did was scripted. Biden wasn't even meeting with members of his own cabinet. He wasn't having cabinet meetings. And when he did, they were scripted, aka somebody else was controlling what Biden said, what was said during the meeting.
Who scripted the meetings? Who is doing all the writing? Those are the real champions.
They were controlling everything. Biden has not been running anything at all. And the liberal media had no questions about, well, who's advising Joe Biden? Who is behind the policy agenda of the Biden administration? They had no concerns about it. None at all. Zero. But yet, when it comes to what's happening right now, they seem to have an issue with, oh, well, Trump he's taking advice from Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. This is dangerous. What I think is more dangerous than knowing who potentially has influence over the president is not knowing. While at the same time, the president is not in the mental state to make his own decisions, but yet we don't know who's actually making decisions on his behalf, right? Who's running the country? We don't know at all with Joe Biden. At least with Trump, we know, okay, well, these are the people that he's taking advice from. These are people in his circle, blah, blah, blah. There's transparency there, right? Even though I don't think that Elon Musk or Vivek Ramaswamy are controlling Trump, I think Trump makes his own decisions. I think he values their advice, but ultimately, in the day, he's making his own decisions. I can't say that with Joe Biden. And again, the media has no concerns about that. And they should be having concerns about that because Joe Biden has been missing in action for the past 3 or 4 months.
The biggest political scandal. And it goes to show that we don't really need a president to run this country. You know, the country will move forward and run normally without a president, as long as everybody agrees with that. That means the media, that means everybody at the White House, you know, the Senate, the Congress. If everybody agrees to just move forward with the country, it could happen. It's kind of sad, but hopefully those times are over. Now with the new president, the new FBI director, the new Department of Justice, all of that is going to change, hopefully.
What has this guy been doing? Where has he been at? No concern whatsoever from the media.
Look, I'll say 2 things. One is that I think Joe Biden, despite all this, had a very successful tenure. You may disagree, but I think on policy as a Democrat, he had a very successful 4 years.
Wow.
But there's a bigger problem here. And that is that I think Democrats are at the point where Republicans might have been right after the Bush election or after the Bush term was up, which is that I think Democrats are starting to mistrust their institutions. And this goes back to a bipartisan effort to lie us into the Iraq War, not just by George Bush, but also by a lot of Democrats. It has to do with the fact that Barack Obama did not hold anybody accountable after the 2008 crisis, which also happened in George Bush's watch, but he became president. He never threw a hostage on the tarmac from Wall Street. You saw the rise of Bernie Sanders as a result of that. And you saw a lot of institutional Democrats, me included, saying, no, this is not the time. We have to stick with the institution. And I think you have a lot of Democrats now, me included, who are pretty sick of the institution and trusting people in the institution. And this is just one example, most recent example, I think, of people institutionally lying to the American people.
Let me pause it right there. I want to give a shout out to the new comer that we got here. Shout out to Nate. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Ain't no filter. Sorry for being late, but we here. Talk to me.
Yeah, we're watching CNN talking about the fact that there were so many lies about Biden presidency and how it wasn't capable for him to be running the country, that somebody else must have been running the country. And CNN participated in that cover-up.
I mean, a lot of people knew when he had the COVID situation, he came back and he wasn't the same. See, a lot of conspiracy that he was cloned and he was, so he already knew that the changes were coming. So he wasn't running the country. They already know that.
And it's kind of sad because that means that everybody around him knew. So it was a bigger cover-up. So it's not just him lying, but the White House was lying, CNN was lying, and everybody who saw this old man and could tell that there's a problem, well, then they were supposed to say something instead of saying that he's okay.
So, yeah. So what do you think his legacy is going to be?
It's a lie of epic proportion. Let's finish listening to the staffer talk about it. Check it out.
And what you're ultimately going to see, and I don't have a problem saying this as a Democrat, is that you're going to see a Tea Party version rise up in the Democratic Party based on the fact that this is yet another marker of people just not trusting our leaders anymore. And I'm sorry to say that, but I think we brought this on ourselves.
Yeah, I remember so distinctly when the Wall Street Journal's first story came out and the uproar about it among Democrats and the anger that they were making things up. In this story, they have multiple sitting members of Congress on the record talking about how they hardly ever heard from the president. They're chairman of their respective committees, going all the way back to the Afghanistan withdrawal. I mean, this is something that they told the public was a Joe Biden decision. And according to this article, he was not really a huge part of rationalizing it, even to his own party among the elected officials.
But I think there is, like, I don't know if everybody's looking at me like I'm supposed to be defending the Democrats right now.
No.
Because, like, I think the interesting thing about this entire question is, like, when even the Democratic institutionalists realized, like, this dude can't be president, they said he can't be president, and then didn't blindly defend him. You know, he would have been running for a second term except for the Democratic Party. And now and there were people who always thought that this man could not be president now, right? But that is not up to, well, that could be up to the cabinet, right? And we were lied to, but I don't know how to defend that because I didn't think he should be president for a second term. I think that the party, when people realized that he could not do the job of president, they did something about it.
There were a lot of people, even at that time, still defending his ability to run for president again. Some people even suggested that it didn't matter whether or not he could continue as president, that he should continue to run.
Even after that disastrous debate on this network, there were some people being like, oh, he had a bad night. He had a bad night. You know, and one of the quotes in that Wall Street Journal piece was, you know, there are good days and bad days. Today's a bad day. We'll deal with this tomorrow. The problem is tomorrow never came. It was just one bad day after another. And this kind of shielding President Biden, lying to the American people, telling them, don't believe your lying eyes, is yet another reason why President Trump was so successful.
And you know what? Shout out to that young lady for saying the truth. Once we saw that debate against Trump in CNN, what we noticed, it was clear that he should not be running the country. That's when they decided to go with Kamala. When they noticed that this old man can't even stand on stage. He is really deficient. But you know what?
You know, I blame the whole campaign. I blame the whole party. And who selected him? Obama. So they knew what he was doing. Obama was the one behind the scene calling the shots because he said it in one of the interviews. And thank God he didn't get reelected. Thank God.
And that's another problem. This makes Obama look bad. I was saying
Yup.
earlier that it makes Obama look so bad because the man to me was like at a God level. Like, wow, the greatest president ever, smart, well articulate, like he knew what he was doing. But then to do this and get this old man into presidency and lie.
And lie and see, and then trying to tell us that if you don't vote for a woman, you're not a man enough.
Another
What he did
problem.
in Michigan, you know what he did in Michigan and in Chicago. That
Yeah,
was
with
him.
Harris.
Yeah.
So try to shame people, man. And you know what's the biggest problem in life? When people lie. And let me confess something, man. I'm feeling a little depressed because I'm dealing with a liar, and that sort of brings out the depression in me. You know?
Dang, you taking this shit personal? Who lied to you, man? Go ahead, express yourself. Here in
Yeah,
Murder
yeah.
on Life. Go ahead.
You know how they talk about these women that marry these guys, and then after like a few years, they divorce them and take them for everything they got.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of fell into that drama where, okay, I'll say this much. When I was
Damn.
younger,
You were like Travis, the football player? The new
there you
guy?
go.
You felt like that? Because a lot of people telling Travis, hey, don't do it. I mean, he should pick up the sign. You know, you can't create this fantasy. That's the problem with guys. They create this fantasy, this scenario in their head without communicating with the person. You got to get to know the person so you won't get hit later on. But go ahead, you were saying?
No, yeah, when I was younger, my biggest fear was having a baby. Not me as a man, like me and my girlfriend, she becoming pregnant because I couldn't afford it. And you should not be having kids until you can afford it. That was my biggest fear. But now that I got older, I'm 45 years old. The only reason I got married was to have a family. Like I actually wanted children because I'm 45. I made all the money I was gonna make. You know, I got a nice Tesla car, got a house. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, your
What
dream, your
happened?
dream.
That was my dream. Like, let me just finish up. I got diagnosed with PPMS, so I'm battling a disability. And I said to myself, you know what? Let me have a child and then hopefully make this young lady happy. Although I did kind of see it that she wasn't really that honest. She really just wanted a guy with money. But I was pretending like, okay, no, once we have a family, everything will get better. It didn't happen that way. Just so happened that I married somebody who can get pregnant. Like 5 times she got pregnant until it didn't develop. You know.
Damn, but hold on. We should talk about this in another topic, man.
All right.
Like,
So let me
that'd be
switch it up.
nice, but go ahead.
Let me switch it up then. Today, I'm feeling depressed because I found out that she went to Tesla, the website, and switched the car over to her name. So I'm like, you can't do that. I'm still paying for that car. Like, I'm the owner. So then,
shit, but did Tesla notify you?
no. So I'm shocked. I'm like, how in the hell can Tesla just switch the owner from me to her? So I called them up and she said that, yeah, she went into the app and made it like a purchase. Like she purchased the car from me and transferred it over to her. So I'm like, there is no bill of sale. What do you mean she just transferred it over to her? That's insane.
No, that's a lie.
So now that removed access from my car. So there you go. Now I lost a car. I used to have a Tesla. Now I don't. So that depressed the hell out of me because like that was my dream car.
Hold on. What we're gonna do is call me off camera because there's no way in hell. Leave your comments below. If the title is under your name, they cannot take the vehicle.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, how? And then on top of that, what depresses me is I told my son, I got a 15-year-old. My son just came in and said that's part of her plan. And she told me that she wants to sell the house and she's looking for an apartment to move me and my son in. So because she wants $50,000. So her plan is to sell the house, take $50,000, keep the car, and move me into an apartment. I'm like, I don't want to move to an apartment. I used to live in an apartment already. So
Yeah, but you guys, y'all need to talk about this, man. Y'all can just, do things out of the blue. That's crazy. But wasn't you in court with her the other day?
yeah, that was for a different charge. That's for, I called the police office because she was yelling at me. And that's one thing about me. I don't like people yelling at me. I don't allow people to yell at me. Like you're not gonna put fear in me like I'm nobody. Like, hey yo, Nate, get over here now. Like somebody yells at you like that to get you to do stuff.
Mhm.
That doesn't work with me. I'm like, no. And because I'm disabled. So I'm not even gonna argue with you, I'm not gonna fight with you. So she said to me, I'm gonna call the cops on you. So when she said that to me, I called the cops. Because if she calls the cops, you know how it is in this country, women and children are respected more than anything. So then I called the cops and I said to them, listen, I'm calling because it is, blah, blah, blah. So I pressed charges. And that's what we went to court.
Hold on, dog. Call me because you're still alive. You still, yeah.
What? No,
You still alive, man. My
I only got
audience, sorry about that. Yeah, we should change, the scenario and
No, I got 7 viewers right now. Shout out to the viewers. But I'll say this much. You know what? I'm sharing my story. Hopefully you'll learn something from it. Because the truth is, I got to figure out what to do next. Like, I got to live with this individual. Because I told her, okay, take the car, move out, get another apartment. And she's like, no, she doesn't want to move out. She's going to a party tonight. So she's like, I'm going to a party tonight. I guess her friend, when a girl has friends, she's going to go to a party. And then she's like, I'm not moving out until we sell the house. Because you might try to be slick and try to keep the house if I move out. So I'm going to wait to sell, then I move. So I'm like, can I at least keep the house? Like, because the problem with me is because I'm sick, I thought I don't have the energy to go out looking at houses and trying to get another house. Can I just live here? Leave me alone. Leave me and my son alone. We're fine here. And she's like, no. So I'm like,
hey, it sounds like you're in the prison on your own house.
Yeah.
In
So,
America.
and I gotta live with this hell. And I told my son, I think she was hoping that maybe I die sooner than later. So like that, if I die, she gets all the money, she gets the house, she gets the car, she gets everything. But I'm still alive. She's going to New York December 24th for Christmas. So I'm like, you taking the car and she's gonna leave me here. She's like, yeah. That's it. The car's under my name. So I cannot even track the car. I can't even, what I used to do with the phone, I can't do that anymore. So,
but I think you're wrong, brother. I think you're assuming things. You cannot purchase, what happened to your vehicle, they can't do that. I think you're wrong. Because if you purchase the car, call me so I can explain to you. There's no way in hell that happens.
Yo, it happened. I'm like, how? And he said that she just submitted the document online, and that's all they needed, 3 documents, which is the car registration, her license, and the car VIN number. And that's all.
No, that's different. That's different. What she did, call me. I know what she did. That's not ownership. That's basically saying that she's part of the car. But the main owner is whoever pulled that car off the lot. Well, it's like if you go to a dealership, and I pull out the car, the title's under my name. Now I can co-sign somebody, but they're not the owner.
Tesla told me I got to talk to the other person that transferred the car to her name, so she's the owner now, and I got to convince her to transfer it back to me, but they can't do nothing.
But what's the payment? Who's making the payment?
Me. I'm still making the payments.
So don't make payments.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you know what?
Don't make payments. What are you talking? If the car, no, man, call me off guard. We can't do this here. I'm gonna tell you why. Don't shut that door live.
$750 a month. The 5th of every month I gotta pay. So he's like,
that's what I'm saying. Coño, damn man. No grabe esto, no, because ella te puede usar esto. Shut it off first, and let's talk.
By the way, that's another thing. She records every conversation now that I have with her because she's like, I'm going to use that in court.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like right now, you live. Like I don't. Yeah.
So now she called me. She like, repeat that again. Like she gets me, and I'm like, no, you know what? I blocked her. I blocked her number from my phone, and I'm like, I'm not having no more conversation with you because all I'm doing is burying myself. So,
Yeah.
all right, you know what?
Cut
listen,
the line. Cut the line.
This is the best way that I talk to my brother. Shout out to Nate No Filter. Thank you for listening. I'm learning to use social media just to talk and be open about things because, wow, the headache that I'm going through is like the type of story that you hear online of other people going through this. But it's like, okay, now it's my turn. I'm meeting the devil. And now I got to figure out because I don't see her. She leaves at 7 in the morning. She comes home at 10. And she like, by the way, tomorrow, which is today.
Yo, kill the live. Kill the live. Kill it. Yeah.
Shout out to my viewers. See you guys in the next video. Peace. Hopefully we're still alive.